welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be going over the Fundrise Innovation Fund, how it can help you in 2023, and why I'm so bullish on it for getting you into early venture capital funds without the heavy burden traditional funds like Sequoia Capital, for example, charge you. So let's get into it. So the first thing I want to go over is the actual Fundrise Innovation Fund from the ground up. What are some key points you need to understand? Well, first of all, this is piggybacking off of the commercial real estate side that Fundrise has known since about around 2010. For those of you who aren't familiar, I'm going to link a video up here for the Fundrise overview I did several months ago. But really, what Fundrise is doing is they're taking their expertise on the commercial real estate side and they're going into the venture capital side. I'm very bullish on this, and again, I'm going to go into the reasons why. But it does make a lot of sense. So here from the homepage, from the offerings page of Fundrise, we can see really all they're looking to do is, from an investment side, get into some of these early stage venture capital options and ride those out over the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years. So the first thing you're probably thinking is, hey, why is Fundrise getting into venture capital? Why are they diverging away from their core competency? So it's a great question. Having listened to some of the podcasts that their CEO Ben has went over and doing a lot of research on this, basically they feel like they can lower the fee fund, which we're going to go over in a minute, provide a lot of excess value outside their normal core competency of commercial real estate by taking all that data, that expertise, and then give that back to the investors while providing a platform and an enablement experience unlike anything in the market. And I'll be honest, I've looked for something like this. I do have a video, which I'm going to link here as well, on the Titan Invest, the VC fund with Kathy Wood. I think there is a little bit of overlap there. The companies are a little different, but I do think there's a little bit of overlap. So the first thing I want to look at here is, the investment strategy. But if you look down here, same problem, different asset, that's exactly right. Typically, by the time a company IPOs, so by the you think of a Google, a Facebook, an Amazon, a lot of that value has already been drained out or squeezed out. And you'll see here in this picture exactly what I'm talking about. So annual return percentage, that's around 20%. Standard deviation, number of years it takes. So here, this is a 20-year horizon. This is a 20% return. Venture capital is somewhere up here. Small cap, mid cap, I've went over this on my channel already. But venture capital really is a great way to invest. But again, it usually had such high minimums and such heavy carry fees. It was cost prohibitive for 99% of the general population to go through. And we scroll down here, you see a little bit more. So they're really going into 5 key areas. So you've got AI, ML, you've got modern data infrastructure, you've got development operations or DevOps in the tech space, you've got fintech or financial technology, and then finally you have property technology or prop tech. Those are the 5 areas that they're going to be looking to invest in. And we're going to go over the first company they invested in just a second. But you'll see here a little more of what I was just talking about. So you're seeing the average IPO in the 90s was around 7.5 years. Today, companies are staying private longer. So again, that really works to the thesis of what Fundrise is doing by holding on to companies longer and squeezing out more value. By the time they go public, a lot of that value is gone. Instead of being returned to the shareholders when an IPO, a lot of that value is being returned to those that have invested into the fund early. So again, they're looking at these 5 core areas. Like I mentioned, AI, ML, modern data infrastructure, etc. And the first company they've invested in is a company called Vanta. Vanta is interesting because I'd heard of them before. They were actually on a crowd-funded list I was looking at earlier from EquityB, and I wasn't sure where they were at, where they were going to be playing, but I was a little surprised to see that Vanta's actually included here. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to click on this. We're going to go over the first fund in here. So Vanta was founded in 2016. They're in San Francisco, of course. And what Vanta does at a very high level is they allow companies to complete their audits, whether it's SOX, PCIe compliance, etc. They make that very, very easy, very slick. They modernize everything. They bring it into one platform. They provide the reports, and they don't make you hunt down different different consumers, different end users, things like that. So Fundrise actually did an investment in this back in September, on September 7th, for $5 million. So I thought that was a very interesting investment. Pretty low amount, but they're also building this fund up. This is a brand new fund. I'm not going to go into everything from Vanta. I'll leave the link, like I said, down in the description below for you to look at. But if I actually go over here, you're able to see inside the growth tech fund here. So this is what it looks like inside the fund. So you've got, I put $350 in here already since January. So I'm sort of testing this fund out to see what it looks like over the next 3, 4, 5, 6 quarters. I'm not expecting to see a huge growth in it, and the investment timeline again is 5 to 10 years. So this is another one of those, like commercial real estate, another long haul investment that you need to be prepared for. But this is what the interface looks like once you've invested. It'll come up as growth tech. The Vanta fund down here is already in here. You see the last valuation. You see that it's mid stage, so it's not early stage, it's not late stage, it's mid stage. A couple investment rounds have went through, and it's classified as data infrastructure. If I click on that, it'll show up again, and I can change the view here. But basically, it's going to show you right here, whether dividends, appreciation, and then you're going to have your standard advisory fee. And if I click over that, you're going to see that with everything, you do have a fee. So one of the things that traditional VC firms were used to is what's called a acquisition fee and then a carry fee. So for those of you that have been in the finance world or looked at venture capital, you may have heard of something called a 2 in 20 or 1 in 10. And what that means is if it's a 2 in 20, it means the fund will take 2% as an advisory fee. So if you put in $100,000, they'll take $2,000 to manage it, and then they'll take 20% of earnings. So if you make $100,000, they'll take $20,000. That's been the go-to-market strategy for a lot of these firms for several years. And I really like the fact that Fundrise is disrupting that by lowering the cost, lowering the barrier to entry, providing value back to the customer while being strategic across all these different industry verticals, like I mentioned earlier. So speaking of entry level, the entry to get into this fund is $50. So if you're a Fundrise customer today, you can go ahead and invest. What I've noticed is they've been rolling it out to current customers, those that had invested in the Fundrise IPO, which I did. I may do a separate video on the Fundrise IPO. I think it's a very interesting idea, and I'm very bullish on them long term. But if you're already a Fundrise customer, feel free to go ahead and invest. But this has been a really good overview of the Fundrise Innovation Fund. Right now, there's only one in there, but as this progresses over time, I'm going to continue to update these videos. And if you guys would like, put down in the description, I can go over each fund in a more detailed and micro level view instead of the macro view I took today. But that'll be left up to you guys. You drive the content. You let me know what you want to see. So I'd be really interested to see your comments, questions. What do you think about this fund? Are you a Fundrise customer? Are you investing in the Innovation Fund? Let me know down in the comments. And as always, don't forget to design your financial freedom. Take care. Bye-bye.